Hi, I'm May.
And I'm Casper. And this is Graphite on Tape. On this podcast, we explore our different processes and mediums through conversation. We are both artists, both lesbians, married to each other.
And our first series is Exploring the Artist's Way, a 12-week course by Julia Cameron. Wanted to do the Artist's Way? Now is the time. This is an autonomous peer group. So please join us each week on Mondays on our free tier on Patreon and listen along and reflect along with us on how it's been going and what you'd like to improve on.
We're recording. It's the last episode. Wah.
It's the last episode of the Graphite on Tape's Artist Way series.
Oh my goodness.
12 out of 12.
Done. Check.
Week 12, Recovering a Sense of Faith. In this final week, we acknowledge the inherently mysterious spiritual heart of creativity. We address the fact that creativity requires receptivity and profound trust. Capabilities we have developed through our work in this course. We set our creative aims and take a special look at last-minute sabotage. We renew our commitment to the use of the tools.
Hell yeah.
Week 12.
Ah! We did it.
We made it to week 12.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I don't even know how to talk about the chapter this week. I feel like this week I just focused on my practices.
Yeah, you did.
And I didn't focus too much on the essays in the chapter.
No.
Did you feel yourself really stuck on any of the essays? Did any stand out?
So there's a section on escape velocity.
It's like you get these tests.
Yeah, it feels like
You're about to quit a job and then the boss finally gives you a raise after years, and then you don't quit the job. It's like the test.
Yeah. And so I've been thinking about escape velocity a little bit and really thinking about sort of something that we talked about last week, which is, how you take a bunch of steps forward and then you have a big setback, or you take a couple steps back. And I feel like this week is such a perfect example of the ebb and flow of that and how it's part of the process. Because I will say the beginning of my week this week with the Artist's Way was so spectacular, and then it really dipped down at the end of the week. So
yeah, I think I'd rather talk about this week and how this week went for us instead of going over each essay.
Yeah.
For us, we got really excited about making it to week 12, which is so fair. It's so hard. We went through a whole 12-week course and, we took our time for some of those weeks, but we stayed true to the commitment and we kept showing back up. Even when we stopped writing our morning pages or struggled to do our artist day, we always came back to everything.
Yep.
So it's a really big, exciting time. And I've been really proud of myself. I've been really proud of you.
Proud of you too.
And again, the beginning of the week was going really well. I did a bunch of ballet classes. I did a bunch of fiber arts. I even wrote a little bit. And you went on 2 artist dates.
I did.
You went to the piano practice, and then you went to life drawing. And then there was some synchronicity that happened this week as well, where, every time you were headed out of the house, you seemed to meet someone that was in need of an engineer.
I did. It was very funny. Every artist date that I went on, I ran into a situation that was
where you would mention.
I would mention, I was meeting, the manager of the practice piano studio to sign into my room, and getting to chatting and then being oh yeah, my wife's an audio engineer, and having them immediately be ooh, we are always looking for audio engineers. And I was well, how about that? So it was a very interesting synchronicity filled week.
Definitely. And I think that for you as well, you have wanted to have more illustrative work in your client work, so that every client that you bring in gives you an opportunity to do your art and not just your designing.
Yes.
And you did have another client come up that will require quite a bit of illustrative work.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of synchronicity this week for both of us.
There's a task that we did a few weeks ago where we had to like make the deal, where we had to like write out what we were willing to do and what our sort of deal with the universe was. For me, it was like making a deal to really just focus on the drawing and trust that the universe would handle, making sure I had the clients that I needed. Overwhelmingly, that has happened. The more that I focus on just doing the types of drawings that I want to do, and even outside of drawing, I've recently, I went to a piano practice studio because I fucking love music and I love playing music. I love writing music. I love all of it. And that's like a very like just for me personal art practice. And even practicing that, I feel like has yielded great rewards from the universe. The universe has made sure that I have enough clients to keep the rent paid, is giving me opportunities with every client that asks me to do work to do the type of work that I really want to be focusing on. So it's just really exciting, and it's really wonderful to be at this point.
It's really great.
It's really great.
It's lovely to see that we are putting in what we need to put in for ourselves and into the world, and we are seeing it come back to us. That's always lovely. I'm really, really proud of us. I'm really excited for where we are in this journey. And I have or at least starting at the beginning of the week, I had no doubts or fears. Everything was going so smoothly.
And then disaster struck. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, well, we all know that I have had some issues with my artist dates in the past where I've avoided them because I had a bad one. They didn't really, work out how I thought they'd work out. Some of them were just kind of at home, and those were the best. But what I haven't talked about is I've been feeling dissatisfied with my artist dates. I don't feel like I'm taking risks. I don't feel like I am exploring all that I could explore even within my own comfort zone. And that has made it really tricky because I avoid the artist dates because I worry that if I take a risk, it's going to go badly. Or if I do something too small, I won't feel satisfied with it. And it's been really hard for me to find what clicks and what is kind of in the middle of those two things. And so I went for what felt like the middle of the two by going to see the Nutcracker at Meridian Theaters in Center Point. And it was just a really, really bad night.
It was rough.
I obviously was wearing N95 the whole time. So was Casper. And we brought our little air purifier that's the size of a lunchbox. It's pretty small. And it was all going really well until I saw our seats. I thought I'd gotten us an aisle seat. I actually squished us up into a corner. And as we were sitting down and I was looking around and kind of exchanging glances with people, I realized that I was not even getting neutral looks from people, let alone smiles, but I was getting looks of disgust.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was one woman that just kept staring at me and giving me weird looks and disapproving looks. And I don't know entirely why. I can speculate. Maybe she didn't understand what my air purifier was and was suspicious of it. She didn't like that I was masking. Who knows? It could be that I was there openly as a lesbian. But for Casper, it was even worse. And it escalated as the ballet started. There was a guy sitting 2 seats to the left of us, and he moved 1 seat over closer to us, and then during the performance was turning and coughing towards Cass, and he was giving Cass really weird looks too.
Certainly not a Casper fan. That guy, which to be honest, I am used to. When I go out in public, I present very obviously butch and very obviously a lesbian. And usually when I go in public, there's at least 1 or 2 people that give me anywhere between uncomfortable gawking and outright hostile, violent reactions. So I'm used to that, but there was a much higher concentration of that, I would say, in this particular space and in a space that I couldn't very easily maneuver because we were in a corner. Yeah, and then the guy just kept moving closer to me and was staring at me very uncomfortably, very visible, a lot of visible disgust. and just anger, which again, was it the mask? Was it that I'm really obviously not gender conforming? Maybe it was because I was wearing a keffiyeh. You never know. The list goes on of reasons why people are deciding to be violent towards you. But
we figure is most likely the homophobia because that kind of tracks with what you've experienced before.
yeah.
We haven't really experienced too much like outward, like negative social interactions with people based on masking or wearing our keffiyehs before. Like, of course, that could have been the reason, and I have heard that it's happened to other people.
It's usually the obviously trans, obviously a lesbian thing that gets me every time.
And we decided to leave after the first act, so we left during intermission, and I was just beelining it out of there and creating a path for us to get through the crowd of people. And Cass was receiving like the most concentration of horrible stares at that point in the night. And the only thing that I kept thinking of was like, is it because we're like an obviously lesbian couple coming to something that people deem like only for children and families? And, you know, to me, that's so like bananas because I've performed in the Nutcracker when I was a child. I've gone to see the Nutcracker pre-pandemic as an adult. I just always went to the National Arts Center.
Yeah.
And is it because this smaller production is like more frequented by families, so they kind of feel like they have this claim, which like, again, we would be allowed in family spaces. I do want to, we have families, we are children. You know, and like one day we will have children. Like families are not just like a man and a woman and their children. They can be.
Yes.
They can be.
Sure.
But they're very diverse, even in like single parents, even in like adoptive families, in like extended families,
in like multi-parent families of like, you know, some people have 3 parents, some people have 4 parents,
some people have grandparents as parents, some people have their grandparents living with them so that their family looks different. Like I'm not saying that we didn't belong because it was a family space, but I was wondering if some of the homophobia was stemming from this place that like we shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Because it's for families.
Oh yeah, I was when we were heading out, I was definitely getting horrible vibes from people, except for the staff. There was a few staff members who like we made eye contact, like
they were lovely,
bartenders and such, who were just like we do like a little mask nod, like, oh hey, another person wearing a mask, yay. Staff were A+, we loved them. But yeah, I was walking in this theater in Nepean being like, fuck, am I gonna get jumped in the parking lot?
So that kind of put us in a backward step. We took a wallow day on Saturday when we usually record the podcast. So we're actually recording on Sunday. And it was needed. I broke out an old doll of mine, not too old, just a few years old. And I made it a little bodysuit and put her hair in a bun. So she can be kind of like the dollification of my like inner artist child, my inner baby ballerina.
Yeah.
So that came of yesterday, which was really good. But it was a whole day of just like doing things to self-soothe and to like help us get over the lull of what was inevitable to come out of an experience like that. Because for me, it was supposed to be my artist date.
Yeah.
And it was the Nutcracker, and it was really important to me. And there's so much that just fell apart so quickly, and that made me feel like coming into the end of the 12 weeks from a really like weak point, like a really big valley. And that's been hard to come to terms with and accept is happening, because I was feeling like I was going to end so strong. And, you know, I bounced back a bit today, but it still has put a bit of a damper on the fact that the course is over.
Yeah, it's funny. It's one of those things where it's like, it sucks that you're on like the back foot at the end of the process, but it also just goes to show like how cyclical the process is, right? Because it feels, again, like we take a couple steps forward, we take a couple steps back, we take even more steps forward, we take more steps back, we come up to the edge of a cliff, we freak out and we run away. You know what I mean? And this feels like one of those, and I think one of the reasons why it felt so impactful, or so much more impactful, was because it was a creative risk. And so that's scary, but I also think that going through this process at least hopefully, what we can take from it is that we can take creative risks, have them backfire, and still pick ourselves back up.
Mm-hmm,
and
100%.
like care for ourselves back into a place where we feel ready to take creative risks again.
Yeah, and I definitely felt that. Like, I didn't dance on Saturday, but I wore my bodysuit under all my clothes, which just kind of felt like holding it close, and I made the little ballerina me. So I did some things so that today I danced and I had a really good class.
Yeah.
So I came back to it like with one day off in between. And that's really good given my track record of things getting tough, of things happening that make me feel like I don't belong or that it's not worth it, and that all I'm going to experience is rejection or disappointment. And instead of getting too stuck in all those feelings and thinking that they are absolutely true, I was able to bring myself back. And I learned that, like, the universe might be showing me that I am not entirely ready to open up my craft to the world and institution of ballet.
Yeah.
I am going to go through this as long as I can in a place that's like really me and really under my understanding of ballet and my relationship with it, instead of mixing it up with these like big institutions and such, at least right now.
Yeah, it's really funny. Institutions have this way of having such a huge gravitational pull that sometimes it feels really hard to break out of. And this is not something I've experienced recently because it's something I went through a lot in my early 20s, which was really wanting to identify with like the institutions and the, let's call it like the big names or whatever in my craft or in my field. And then just slowly over time being not just like harmed by them, but disappointed by them over and over again and being made to feel like you don't belong. And then coming out on the other side of it and also simultaneously growing my own politic and realizing I actually don't belong there because I don't want to be there. They actually don't get to decide who is and is not a insert craft here. I made an art piece about this a few years ago called Fuck Mastery. And I mean it with my whole chest. I'm over it.
Yeah, I think I'm just in a little bit of a different place.
You are.
I do have some goals that require engaging with the institution. I have 2 major level Cicchetti exams under my belt that I did really well in. And when I went to the National Ballet School and the teacher training program, I was really excited because I thought I would be able to complete my 3rd, which is Advanced 2, and then that kind of completes the trio of major examinations at a student level in the Cicchetti syllabus.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they were expecting me to do Advanced 2 in like year 3, so I had to start back in intermediate, which was I had done intermediate many years ago and I had just done Advanced 1. So it was like 2 steps back and I was very frustrated by it. And I ended up not staying for a plethora of reasons many, many months into that first year. But coming back into my practice, I've realized that I can definitely find a way to achieve that exam without like going back to that rigorous and specific full-time dance program.
Yeah.
And really all I need to do is train myself to a level that I could find a teacher willing to put me through that exam under their name.
Yeah.
And that's way down the line.
Of course.
And I think that's, something that I'm willing to have change over time as well. But even if it doesn't, and I find myself years from now ready for that next step and to like kind of go through that institutional exam, I will allow myself as well to find a way to do it so that I still have as much distance as I can from the institution itself.
I really like that goal for you. It's a way for you to exercise your own autonomy and to choose how you want to engage with the institution rather than letting the institution tell you how you're going to engage with it. Right?
Exactly. Instead of it being, I need the institution of ballet in order to achieve the skill and the artistry that I'm looking for in my ballet practice, it can be actually, I can achieve that on my own, especially based on like my experience having been a teacher myself and also my relationship with other teachers.
Yeah.
The wonderful World Wide Web.
Yes.
And the fact that I was able to etch out a little corner of space, and I'll be able to save some change so that I can rent a studio for an hour or 2 hours every so often on my own when I'm ready to get back to a full-size studio. Like, I'm just finding ways to dance and to build my artistry and to carve out my craft and technique into the place I want it to be. And then when it's there, then I can go to the institution and be like, look what I did without you.
Yes.
I need you to get this one accomplishment, this one certificate under my belt.
I need the piece of paper, bro.
for to complete something that will be important, or that is important to kind of like teenage me that wanted to get that advanced too and always thought I would. I want to get that for that dancer, but I want to do it for that dancer in a way where I get to choose what the institution gets from me, and they don't get to train me to the level where I can do that exam. I'm going to train myself to that level, and then they're going to step in and teach me that exam and put me through that exam at the end, near the finish line.
It makes me think a lot about how tenuous the relationship between like institution and student is. We put so much into these institutions and teachers' hands, and a lot of them are not worthy of that, like of you to give that to them, because that is a huge risk that you are taking, especially when you're so young, to be putting your creative essence into the hands of somebody who has the power to squash it. Especially because these institutions ask you to trust them without knowing anything about the teachers that are going to be teaching you, without knowing anything. They kind of expect their name is enough. I think about that a lot, particularly when it comes to artistic mentorship and teaching, because I know and I think we've both experienced teachers who are not worthy of holding our creative spirits. And so I really love this plan that you're making for yourself, because it also feels like the plan of somebody who really knows how to take care of themselves.
Yes, and I never found the entirety of the institution. And that's not to say no teacher. There were some teachers that were real gems. And, everyone had different relationships with teachers. So if any of my fellow dancers out there who may hear these names and go, I know that teacher and I did not have that experience, that is so valid. You could have had a horrible experience with a teacher that I had a great experience with, and vice versa. So I'm not here to sing anybody's praises like they are faultless. But I had some great teachers. Mrs. Ross from the School of Dance was great, but then I had some teachers there that really crushed my spirit, and that made that institution itself and the greater institution that they are carrying there of ballet as an art kind of more fraught for me.
Yeah.
And then the National Ballet School, I coincidentally had a really great relationship with Miss Mason. Yes.
Same last name buddies.
We had the same last name.
I love that for you too.
And she was wonderful. And if she had been my only teacher, maybe things would have been different.
Yeah.
But then I had some other teachers that I really couldn't trust and I really didn't like. So at the School of Dance, there was just a few teachers that I didn't like, but there were many teachers that outnumbered those teachers. So maybe I was playing fast and loose with my schedule with the teachers I didn't like, but I was overall, coming away from my experience at that school with a mixed bag of things, but I still had trust. I may have had bad experiences. I may have felt bitter about many things that went on in that school, but I had some really good relationships with some teachers that I really, really liked and respected.
Nice.
So I had a feeling that I could trust future teachers that came down the line. Now, when I went to the National Ballet School, it was the complete opposite. I felt like I had a few gems in a large institution of spirit squashers. I just did not trust most people.
Yeah.
And I had a few people that I could trust, but that did not outweigh it. So then what ended up happening, unfortunately, it tips something. So that even those few teachers, those few gems, you start to doubt.
100%.
And you start to feel suspicious.
100%.
So I had a teacher that I loved who actually also taught me intermittently at the School of Dance in Ottawa.
Okay.
And there trusted her 100%. right? And
Yeah.
I loved her classes. She's amazing. At the National Ballet School in Toronto, I had so few good experiences that I even started to distrust her.
Yeah.
And she was encouraging me to retake my intermediate Cicchetti exam
Yeah.
because they used to not let you retake an exam, but then they changed the rules around the time that I was at that school. And I was being encouraged. I cannot remember if it was just her, but she was my teacher for this exam, so it was likely her.
Yeah.
I remember her encouraging me to retake it, and I couldn't understand, and I felt like she was trying to trap me so that I would get a really bad grade and someone could like point at me and say, "There, we told you."
Yeah.
Even though there's nothing about my experience with her in particular that would make me think that.
Yeah, it was the institution that you were in and the bad time that you were being really overshadowed by.
Yeah, so then that one teacher who was brilliant and amazing at another school, and I only saw her in that light, started to become like filtered by this crappy institutional experience that I was having. And it painted a different picture for sure. And then I started doubting her. And as well, like when I did take the intermediate exam years beforehand, I had gotten the top mark. So it just seemed strange to me to be like pushed to redo an exam when you've already gotten an A plus.
Yeah.
If I had gotten like a C or even a B and there would have been somewhere for me to grow, then I would understand that. But it all just like added
Yeah,
up
was it
to
not
doubt.
it wouldn't have been possible for you to get a higher mark?
No, it wouldn't have been. It would have been possible. I got honors.
Oh, damn.
I got honors on my intermediate exam when I first took it. So to me, I didn't understand why I would take it again.
If you were having an experience where you felt like you could trust somebody encouraging you to do that would mean more about what they felt like you could grow in rather than what you felt like they could diminish you in. You know what I mean?
And I honestly don't even know if I told her that I had gotten honors. Like, I don't know if I had an honest conversation being like, why do you want me to take this again?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know, but I did receive honors when I did my exam.
So it feels like nowhere to really go.
Yeah, so like what would be the point of this?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I doubt I ever had a conversation like that because I had so much doubt. And you know what? I thought that if I brought it up, they wouldn't believe me that I got honors.
You have the paper and everything.
Yeah, but no, I didn't have it with me in Toronto.
Yeah, I guess not, huh?
But you know what I mean? Like, but then also, even if I did have it there, like the act of having to like prove myself, I had to prove myself all the time, and I was failing a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But let's talk briefly about our morning pages.
Yeah.
I did 7 out of 7. Morning pages were a lifeline this week.
Oh yeah, necessary. So necessary. Really needed those.
They were really good when we were celebrating and having a good week.
Yeah.
Making plans, congratulating ourselves, feeling wonderful. And then they were really important in the bad few days that we had there too, because it was just really it's just so key in processing some of that crap. You can only talk so much. You can also only write so much, but you can do more of the processing if you do both.
I agree. I think morning pages are definitely a lifeline for emotional processing because we had to process some fuck shit this week, as happens when you're, when you're one of us.
But other than that, like nothing to report for morning pages for me.
No, other than just being really excited about continuing them.
Yeah, we have committed to another 90 days.
There's sort of like a personal contract at the end of the book, and it asks you to recommit yourself to doing at least 90 days of morning pages and 90 days of weekly artist dates. And so we signed our little contract, and so we're keeping at it.
Definitely.
I guess one question that leaves me with is what's next for this podcast?
Well, we have to take a break.
We do have to take a break.
So this will be the last episode for 2024.
Oh my gosh.
And then in 2025, we will come back at it.
Yes, we will.
We're not entirely sure exactly when, but we will firm that up over the next few weeks and then let folks know. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to come back with a brand new series.
We are.
We have been throwing around some ideas. Mm-hmm. For instance, we both have these 2 bigger goals.
Yes, we do.
As you just learned, mine is completing a final major exam in the Cicchetti syllabus of ballet. Mm-hmm. And that will take years for me to get to. So I have all these little goals, like get myself back on point, be able to get through an hour-long class,
yep.
Then get through an hour and 15-minute class, then get through an hour and a half class. So, I have to like build build myself back up to a bunch of technique and endurance and strength standards and accomplishments.
Yep.
And then for yourself, it is finishing that tarot deck.
It really is. It's really about the tarot deck. I do think there's a really good chance that that is kind of what our podcast will continue to rotate around our creative goals and endeavors and what we learn creatively as we go.
We might set like a shorter term goal that we can get done in like 4 months or attempt to get done in 4 months of our bigger goal. And then set the goal on the first episode of the podcast and go over any kinds of thoughts and fears and feelings using the techniques that we've learned from the Artist's Way. And then each week, talk about our progress, talk about our failures, our setbacks, and hopefully at the end, discuss the final accomplishment that we made.
Yeah, I have another thought.
Yeah, what's your other thought?
Because I know this morning we talked about this a little bit, where there's so much in the Artist's Way that we didn't get to experience because you can only do so many tasks in a week. And part of me is like, oh, it'd be so nice to be working towards these goals and to be using some of the tasks and essays and assignments in the Artist's Way that we didn't get to.
Yeah, maybe we will do a task a week.
That's kind of what I was thinking. It might be nice to like
each week that
work,
to
like work backwards through the book and find tasks that we missed.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. We'll see what we land on. That's our big idea right now for series 2.
Yes.
And that would lead into more series potentially. If we have this big overarching goal that'll be years down the line, then we can have a whole bunch of smaller series that get us, closer and closer on the stepstones of working towards the end of that journey, that big goal.
100%. All right, check in. 1, how many days this week did you do your morning pages? Have you accepted them yet as permanent spiritual practice? How was the experience for you? 2, did you do your artist date this week? Will you allow yourself these on a permanent basis as well? What did you do? How did it feel? 3, did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? 4, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant to your recovery? Describe them. Okay, we did it.
We made it to week 12. We made it to the end of week 12.
Yeah, we really did this thing. I'm really proud of us.
I am also extremely proud of us. I'm like unsure when the last time I completed something that wasn't so necessary to complete.
Yeah, this was a very self-motivated and initiated project. And
100%.
The only reason that we can do a project like this is because of the people who support us on Patreon.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do any of this without you guys.
We would not be able to afford to take time to pursue this kind of like really, really fun creative project without the support of y'all. And also, if you are listening and you have made it to week 12, I'm so proud of you for getting here with us.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You did that.
You did. You really did that.
We will not see you next Monday, but we will see you in the new year. And that is all from Graphite on Tape, the Artist's Way series.
Oh my gosh, we've done it. Okay. Bye.
Bye.